This is the T71 Tier 7 American light tank on Windstorm. So I want to talk a little bit about this map, particularly in light slash medium tanks. They play similar roles on this map. There's basically the city area down here, which is not really that great, but there are a lot of different pathways in here. So typically if you go along these outsides, you'll want to have some more armor because they tend to be more alley-like. But in the lighter and medium tanks, you want to play more in the middle. So we're going to go up through the middle first, and one of the things that you can do from this side is spot people as they come across this bridge by going up in this area. So that's what we're going to do, because that at least gives you some idea of what they might be sending up here. And as always, you want to look and see what your team's dispersion looks like as you head up. And it looks like we're pretty even. We don't really have that many people headed in this direction. Usually the middle, like on most maps, tends to be the most neglected by pubs. Something just to keep in mind, something that you need to keep an eye on.
It's a trap!
And so we got a couple shots off on that room, but you don't want to sit there and keep shooting, because there could still be things that were headed north that can potentially get shots on you. There's no reason to hang out here behind this rock, because it's going to make it more difficult for you as they move heavier tanks up in that area. So we do have an idea of what's going on over there at least.
It's a trap!
They do have at least an 8 and a 9 there, and the Roomba as well. And so we've got this sort of gap in this middle here, this FG line, something to keep an eye on. We sent most of our tanks either north or to the south. The guys that went north pushed in a little bit, which is fine. They've got some guys behind them, like that ISU T25/2, backing them up. But sniping really isn't really that effective from that area. Unless they already push in on you. These guys are kind of outnumbered behind me, so that's something that I need to keep an eye on, maybe to see if I can help them out. Especially since our M103 is down to like 600 health, 700 health, and the RU is down to 800. The Roomba is almost dead, but I don't know if these guys are going to be able to poke. So what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to go through on this sort of flanking side over here and see if we can maybe pick off that Roomba. But again, we don't really have any eyes in this middle here, so we don't know what else is there yet. And they have a Black Prince sitting out in the open just because. And that's going to be difficult to push around through there, not just because of the Black Prince, because of that M103 down there. And they do have a little bit more up here now than we would like to see. They have an RU251 in addition to that, to the IS3 and the Roomba, the Centurion. So that's something to keep in mind. The Roomba is crawling up this line, but the M103 isn't in a position to shoot him, and so the Roomba gets a free shot on the RU251. So this M103 is just falling back, and so you can't front this side in a light tank. So I'm going to go and see what's holding up these guys on this south here. They do have an M103 here. And so I'm going to get up into this little alley and just kind of hang out and wait.
It's a trap!
We do have a T95 that's right here. We have a T54 that's just a little bit in the back. So some of these guys should be able to hold this line at the very least. This T95 is slowly working up the courage. And so when this T95 pushes this M103, the M103 is going to be focused on him. So really what you want to do as a light tank, or even as that T54, is go around the other side and shoot the M103 rather than try to face him frontally.
It's a trap!
And so their low has moved up over on the side here. So there's not going to be much, to our knowledge, that is going to be able to shoot us if we come out on the flank of this M103. Now see how our T95 and our T54 have backed off. They haven't really dealt any damage to this guy. But by making a flanking run on him, basically he has to change his position, and that usually allows your puppies to get a little bit braver. And so they are able to get, the T95 is able to get a shot of damage off on him.
It's a trap!
And so we're able to clear off this south relatively easy from there. It looks like this IS is going to die in the middle over here. And our guys on the north are somewhat surrounded. And that happens sometimes if you push in like that and your back support is not that good, and usually it's not because puppies that hide in the back just aren't really that good at this game. This will happen a lot where you'll end up getting, you'll push too far forward and you'll end up getting surrounded. And then I look over here at this Patton for a second, but it looks like he's going to be okay, so I want to kill the RU-251 if I can, if I'll stop bouncing off of him. And so our Patton is still being pushed here, though.
It's a trap!
And now they're all sort of down there, and I'm not going to be able to save that Patton, unfortunately. And now I can't take a WZ-111 and a T-34-3 frontally, so the best thing for me to do is get onto a flank. We have a T-54 that's putting on some cap pressure, but that may or may not work out, and presumably their T-30 is moving back as well. And so you can play this middle area here, which essentially will cut them off from, cut these other guys off from coming back potentially.
It's a trap!
And so we see the T-30 is over there fighting those guys. WZ-111 is essentially out of position to defend the cap, so we can go on to the back of this T-30.
It's a trap!
Enemy armor is damaged. Penetration.
And then we're reloading. The T-20 has come back to try to see if we get a pre-shot. Now this WZ-111 that's in B4 is starting to come back. So he's going to come over onto the flank of this Roomba. And so, as usual, in a fast, light, or medium, just look to flank the flanker.
It's a trap!
Enemy armor is hit. Lost to track. Penetrate. Enemy vehicle destroyed.
And so that's pretty much the ball game. And so again, I think just to highlight, faster, lighter tanks, what you want to do ideally is play this sort of middle area here or maybe down here. You can get eyes going up here, but usually what you want to do if you want to get eyes up here is go up here and then just bail. You don't want to hang out up here because it's too much of an alley and too easy for them to just pick you off if you get ISO'd out there. And then what you want to do is you want to pick and choose your spots. You want to find areas where you can flank tanks, like we flanked that M103. We tried to get a flank on that Roomba and the IS-3, but we were going to take too much damage going through here because of the Black Prince and the M103 that was crossing the bridge. So you know you kind of have to decide whether it's going to be worthwhile or not. But if you're active, in a lot of cases, you'll end up even in a light tank in a tier 9 game, you'll end up doing pretty good amount of damage. So if you look at the stats, that's pretty much what it represents. We do almost the most damage on the team. The WZ-111 did more damage than us, but like in a light tank, we still were, because we're active, because we moved and relocated, and we actually flanked. You'll notice that a lot of our team did not actually actively try to flank. The T-54 could have easily done it, but he didn't. For example, like a lot of these faster tanks, I mean, even the Patton got sort of stuck up north, but a Patton is fast enough where you can actually flank with it. And you want to see that more often than you typically do, because it's really powerful in terms of getting easy shots, particularly in light tanks, which tend to be underpenned for the tier. Anyhow, I hope that was hopeful for Windstorm, and thanks for watching.